question going around is, what's the biggest cherry pick now? People are talking about Brook Golovkin being a bigger cherry pick than Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan, and they're just going back and forth arguing. Well, it's because of this, and oh no, because of this and that. I find it funny because the same motherfuckers that were saying that were actually defending the mismatch between Canelo and Amir Khan, saying, "Oh, they're the same height and they're the same size. And watch what's gonna happen. Triple G only fights bums, so blah blah blah, this and that." But it wouldn't be happening if Canelo didn't duck the fight. We have to remember that, as well as other fighters like Chris Eubank Jr. that also was the last person to try to get the fight lined up versus Golovkin, but we all know that fell through for whatever other reasons. We have Kell Brook, Gennady Golovkin now. And the thing that separates them is, I'll tell you this much, from a Golovkin fan perspective, I can see both cases. I can see why people are saying it's worse, and I can see why people are saying it's the same thing, and why others are saying it's a better fight than Pusinella and Khan. So, Amir Khan had been coming up from 135, got knocked out by Bradis Prescott in the first round. Then after that, he moved up to a buck 40, and he fought Cherry Garcia. Also got put on his ass. And if y'all remember that fight, he got knocked down, I think, 2 or 3 times, and one of them, I swear to God, was from a punch to the neck. I don't even know how you get fucking hurt from a punch to the neck, but hey, it happened. So that's why people say that Amir Khan, moving up, already had a glass jaw. He skipped 154 altogether, and if y'all remember the fight at one of the only 3 fights at 147 was Chris Algieri. Light punching Chris was able to walk him back, push him back, and rock him with some shots. And remember, he can't, crack a fucking egg with his punches. So that's why people are saying this is a worse fight than Kell Brook and Gennady Golovkin. And people keep on saying, if Amir Khan never got knocked out by Cherry Garcia and never got knocked out by Prescott a long time ago, then it'd have a little bit more weight to fighting Pusinella. But of course, he chose one of the weakest links at 147, and like I said, Amir Khan had only had about 3 bouts at 147: Joel Diaz, Chris Algieri, and Devin Alexander. Now, the whole thing with, well, this is worse because at least with Canelo they had a 155 catch weight, so they didn't bring him up all the way. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but 155, that's a pussy catch weight, and technically it is middleweight. So whatever you say, it was versus the 160 paper champ. And that's what it officially says in the record books, and technically it is, because anything from 154.1 to 160 is middleweight, and it's not 155. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Because if you come on the scales 154.2, 154.5, you missed weight, So that's just the way it is. So now we have Pusinella finally ditching the 155 catch weight, going back down to avoid everyone else, but picking Liam Smith. Kell Brook, on the other hand, why he's different from Amir Khan, he's a big 147 pounder. Well, that's what they say. And he's undefeated, never been knocked out, never been dropped or dropped like that I know of. And he is a big guy. He himself said that I'm already having trouble making weight, blah blah, this and that. So I'm already was kind of planning on moving up. I called him out a long time ago, which I said was bullshit. Yeah, I was wrong. I thought he was just trying to match his countryman Amir Khan's valor, or trying to one up his ass, the one up guy. You rent, he buys, whatever. So I just think it was maybe a little ego and maybe a little competitiveness between the two English boxers. But do I believe all this, that he was going to move up anyways? I have no idea. I'm not Kell Brook. I have no fucking clue whether he's telling the truth or not. I'm just relaying whatever has been put out there. And as far as what he's done at 147, yeah, he took care of business with Sean Porter. Was it a dominant ass beating? Absolutely not. Was it a clear-cut victory for the Englishman? Yeah, it was. But again, I would love to see a rematch, see how it goes. Do I think he'd win again? Maybe, probably. The way it went the first time, I don't see why not. So that's the top guy that he's beaten at 147. Other than that, he's really not beaten anyone. Amir Khan, Canelo, I already touched on them. They had fought 3 times. Amir fought at 147. So any of y'all guys defending this shit, first of all, don't be a pussy. Don't be a hypocrite. Because if you're the same guys that were talking shit about Canelo Khan, and yet you're defending this, you know, that's fanboyism. Don't be doing that shit, okay? Because number one, you guys were talking shit, so you can't be a hypocrite, you know? Number two, if you're a Golovkin fan, and you really are, don't be one of those crazy radical fanboys that are just blinded by their fucking love for whatever it is, you know? Don't be those gay fucking dick riding fanboys that, you know, are hypocrites. You make us, the rest of the Golovkin fans, look bad. So as a fellow Golovkin fan myself, don't be doing that shit. You're just making us look bad, alright? Just don't be biased, don't be hypocritical, and just watch the sport. Because before everything, you have to remember, if you're a boxing fan, then you're a boxing fan. That means before everything, first and foremost, you're a fan of the sport. Whether it be this guy or that guy or whoever, you just like the sport in general. And I'm a big Golovkin fan. I would have loved to see him fight some other people, but we all know that Billy Ho Saunders ducked, Chris Eubank ducked. He was asking for too much control, him and his daddy, or both of them, whoever it was. Either way, this contract wasn't signed. We also have other guys in his own division at 160 that turned down the fight as well before Eubank did. And that's Danny Jacobs, the Miracle Man. He says, yeah, I'll fight Golovkin in like a year and a half or two. So we have Pusinello said, yeah, I'll fight him right here, right now. And then what's he do? He doesn't fight him next. Then he goes after his next fight again. Yeah, I'll fight him right here, right now again. Lying his ass off. And then he doesn't fight him again. So we all know Pusinello even gave up his belt as well. So anyone trying to say, well, I've actually seen idiots say that Golovkin ducked the Canelo fight. It's just ridiculous. So all these guys are ducking. They're running for the hills. We know that, you know. He's handled his business, his own division. And I guess this was kind of like the last fight to make up. Eddie Hearns is like, all right, well, we have Eubank trying to get more money, trying to act promoter, when I have this kind of dealings with all my other fighters, Anthony Joshua, whoever else I work with. They're not being divas. They're trying to outprice themselves. So we get this fight. Kell Brook versus Gennady Golovkin, and it's at the full 160. So I can see why people were saying, yeah, this is a cherry pick. You know, it's Canelo, or Canelo 2.0. So again, man, I see both sticking points, both arguments, but shit. You know, like I said, as a non-biased boxing fan, I can't support it, you know. It's bullshit, it's a cherry pick. And I understand why this fight happened. It happened because everyone ducked. But it's the same shit, you know. People are saying it's not a cherry pick. It's saying it's different. It's not the same thing. It's the same shit. The only thing that's different is those little variables that I touched on. The fact that Amir Khan had been knocked out before. The fact that Amir Khan had been coming up from lower weights before. And I'm not trying to defend it or be any of that, saying, oh no, because they're the same height, that means they're the same size. No, like, body mass and height do not relate. They don't go hand in hand. So just because I've seen, when I was boxing, I've seen guys that are fucking 6'2" fighting at lightweight, making 132. You know, it's crazy. Does that mean they're the same size as someone that's like 5'8", boxing at 132 pounds? No. The guy that's could be shorter, could be stockier, heavier set, could have more power. Height doesn't mean shit, and I'm tired of people saying that because, I mean, it's fucking common sense, you know? But unfortunately, common sense isn't so common anymore. So now we have this bullshit fight, Canelo 2.0. if you want to call it that. But I just think that if you're gonna shit on Canelo for doing that with Khan, then don't be shitting on, or then go ahead and shit on Golovkin for doing the same shit, because you're gonna be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite, and you're making us look bad. Like I said, it's the same shit in my eyes. Am I gonna watch it? Yeah, absolutely. I watch all these fights, but am I gonna pay for it? Fuck no.